Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
I bury the clouds I've waited years to slay. If only clarity found me in my last mistake. I rise from the worst, rest from the depths of this instead. I'm swept onto rocks, a shipwreck, a mess. I find myself looking for what I have left. Back on the shore, I can't find your face. I follow fresh footprints back to my place. Would you do it again? Would you do it again? Would you do it again? I found this kingdom myself. I lived you with roses grown in hell, and I can't see you, I can't see you again. I found this kingdom myself. Silence will find you, wait and dwell, but I can't see you, I can't see you again. Silence ensues. I've buried the clouds, I've waited years to slay. If only clarity found me, then would I have been saved? I'd rise from the worst, rest from the depths of this instead. I'm swept onto rocks, a shipwreck, a mess. I find myself looking for what I have left. Back on the shore, I can't find your face. I follow fresh footprints back to my place. Wouldn't do it again. I found this kingdom myself. I lived you with roses grown in hell, and I can't see you, I can't see you again. I found this kingdom myself. Silence will find you, wait and dwell, but I can't see you, I can't see you again. Silence Would you do it again? 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 How would you do it again? Would you do it again? How would you do it again? I found this kingdom myself. I lived you with roses grown in hell, and I can't see you, I can't see you again. I found this kingdom myself. Silence will find you, wait and dwell, but I can't see you.
What's up, everybody? I got Steph from the brilliant band Greywind out of, where Shane Murphy is from, a place called Ireland. They are an amazing band. They get that E is for emo tag, but they're awesome fucking music no matter how you want to categorize it. And I'm totally stoked to have Steph here today. Thank you so much for coming on, Steph.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So, a little background, real quick, for anybody listening. We had a couple technical difficulties on our first try of recording. So, here we are back and better than ever. And I was getting this beautiful story told to me by Steph about how Greywind came together. I know the story and I want you guys to hear it. And, Steph, if you don't mind sharing it again, I truly love to hear how Greywind became the monster it is today.
No worries. I have said this story too many times anyway, so I will say it once again. So basically, me and my brother Paul, who is actually ill right now, so he would have been here. So he sends his regards.
I know he told me yesterday he was coming, but
yeah,
I'll deal with him on another level.
Yeah, it's probably good because the story would have gone on way longer if Paul was talking. So. Fine. So basically, it's me and my brother who are Greywind. We one day kind of decided we'd always wanted to do music and be in a band, and then our uncle had committed suicide, and that kind of woke us up to be like, okay, life is short, let's do what we want to do now and really just do something for ourselves and be happy, I guess. And then so we wrote a song called Afterthoughts. It was the first song we ever finished writing. So we booked into a studio up in Belfast, and our mum drove us up there, and then we just wanted to kind of hear what we'd sound like as a band. Like there was no one here to play, like start a band with in Killarney. It's all traditional Irish music. So we just thought, okay, we'll have to do it ourselves. So we went up to Belfast and we recorded a song, and it was just a demo. We weren't really thinking anything of it. And so we uploaded it onto like SoundCloud and YouTube and all the rest of it. And the next day we had emails from all major labels and managements. And we were thinking, oh my God, are people messing with us? We thought it was our friends, like fake emailing us. But then we Googled people and realized, oh my God, they have LinkedIn. Like they're real. So
I wouldn't call those people friends anymore if that's what you really have.
Oh, no. I'm not friends with most of them. You'll love the new song. So basically we were kind of shocked at it all happening because, I mean, this was our first band. We had no connections to the music industry. Like I said, we're from a small town in Ireland, so this was all very like surreal to us. And then the labels were emailing saying, oh, do you have more music and who's your management? And we were like, yes, we have written so many more songs, even though we hadn't. And then we ended up signing with a big management company in England, and it was kind of a massive whirlwind, and we were very like taken aback, and it was really surreal. It was, I don't know, it was everything you've ever wanted, and then it all comes true. It was all too good, if that makes sense. And yeah, you know,
considering you started it on a lie, oh yeah, we got tons more songs and you got nothing.
Yeah, it kind of all happened, and you're thinking, oh my God, this is great. But yeah, but then it kind of inspired us that we were like, okay, wait, we have to actually finish writing songs now. So it all kind of poured out of us. And like I said, that happening with our uncle, we had like bones of songs. So we ended up finishing loads of songs, and that ended up being our album Afterthoughts. And then we were sent to Texas by the label. We had signed with that management company. So we were kind of surrounded by all these people that we put our trust in, which, you know, you think you should, but looking back, you shouldn't, I guess. I don't know. And sometimes
had you ever been to the States prior to going
I had
to
been
Texas?
to Disney World. That's it. I'd never been. We went to Texas, so that was like a whole new thing.
Yeah, so Disney World and Texas, those are two completely different things.
Yeah, it was like we went to the real America. But I loved it. We went to a place called Sonic Ranch Studios in El Paso, and it was the desert. There was like guns and everything. It was just like so different to what we had experienced. So it was really cool. And it kind of this, I guess, the songs, the soundscape of it all. I love being in a place with nice views when we're writing and recording and stuff. So it was a beautiful place to record, but I found it really difficult recording that album. I would be having panic attacks every day. I would be just cry, like thinking I'm not good enough. And then I felt guilty because I was like, oh my God, Steph, you're living your dream. Apparently, you should be happy. So it was a really difficult time, but we got through it. And, and even now when I say that, I'm like, Steph, like, come on, you were in Texas recording your album. You should have been so happy. But it was just, I don't know, I felt like we were thrown into the deep end, and I'm so grateful for how the album turned out. Like I said, I think me being upset made it probably sound better. um, you can hear I'm sad in it. So yeah, then we got back, and then before the album was even mixed, we got a call from our management at the time saying that the label are dropping the 7 acts that didn't make them money that year, and we just kind of were in that pool. We hadn't released anything to make money, but it was kind of a bit of bad luck. And then the management were like, oh no, but it's fine, we have our own label that we can release the album through. And then me and Paul were a bit like, we weren't like super excited about it, but we were grateful that someone wanted to release it, I guess. But we kind of wanted to be with like a label that cared, and we would have rather kind of waited and shopped it around maybe, or even just started playing shows. We hadn't played shows at this point as well, by the way. So that shows kind of how much happened so early on in our career. So yeah, then it was all good. Then we ended up going on our first tour, and then we announced a headline show on the day our album came out, and we ended up selling it out. It was in London, so it was a whole new country, and it was in a church. It was all very emo and gothic. Yeah, it was amazing. And then we kind of noticed when the major label dropped us that our management at the time had pretty much lost interest. Because I think since they signed us from the beginning, there was interest from the labels and stuff. And I think once that kind of disappeared, they kind of not gave up on us, but kind of. And also I skipped a big part. Sorry, I'm so bad. This is why Paul is better at telling stories than I am. Basically, when we left the major label, they were good enough to give us all the rights back, and they gave the rest of our advance. Like, they were very kind, which I know never happens. Like, we were very lucky we didn't get shelved or just anything. So we then we started playing shows, and we were lucky enough to do like Reading and Leeds and Rock and Ring. So we did a lot of stuff, but it was very scattered. We didn't tour much. We did like one support tour, and then there was a big kind of, I don't know, it felt like everyone in our team just didn't really care. And I know it's very easy to say that. But then we kind of had a feeling something bad was going to happen. So then, was it 2 years into it, our management at the time called Paul and told Paul that they're dropping us. And then Paul had to tell me. And then the next day our agent dropped us. So we kind of went from having everything, even though we weren't happy during it because they weren't really working, I guess, and then to having nothing. And it was just me and Paul again. And then we were thinking, wait, during all that time, they didn't put another record deal in front of us with the newer label, with the management's label. So we straight away got a lawyer and said, we own our debut album. This, like, it belongs to us. Can you take down everything off Spotify and everything so we can re-upload it? And then they were like, no, we own it. And then we said, no, you don't. You didn't put a record deal in front of us. And then that kind of went on for a few years. And then COVID happened. So there was another 2 years. And then eventually in the end of 2020, I think it was, we got our album back. And then that's when we released our song, Am I Asleep? And then there was another thing with the management. So there's been like a bunch of music industry stuff that's kind of happened, that we're not the type of people to go on Twitter and just like blast people. I just wouldn't do that or say this is happening. It's like we kind of always want to keep our fans that they're in our world and our life's world, and they don't have to listen to us complain about the music industry, which now they're listening to, but just to, yeah, that's kind of what's happened. And we're in a great place now. We have a new management, we have a label that cares, and we're very lucky right now, and we're in a very good place. So, and finally it's time to release new music, and wow. Yeah, we won't disappear for that long again, I promise.
Well, I mean, the tale you just told, which is, has happened to many people, and they don't come back from it, right? They get all this stuff up front and they're so excited, and then they see that everything you wished for isn't always a good thing. Exactly. To get it. And so the fact that you're able to continue to move on, because a lot of people, like I said, they don't. They just like, well, fuck, I don't want to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. But to continue to push forward and, coming up on some great times now with new music being ready to come out, and I'm super stoked for it. And I know a lot of people are. But the perseverance and the fact that you and Paul just kept at it, even with the bullshit that's going on behind you, speaks volumes of who you are as artists. Like, it really matters to you to get your music and your sound and what you want the world to hear out. And that's, kudos to you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you. And these songs, that even our song Antidote, is we wrote that when we were going through that. And literally I think it was a few months before we got dropped by the management. And it's kind of a middle finger to those people. And I hope when people listen to it, they can feel that rage. If anyone's ever pissed you off or doubted you, that's kind of an anthem about that. That's what the song is about. And I love how it just shows a different side to us, but it still has that classic Greywind vibe and heaviness and rage, I guess. And it was a really difficult time, but like I said, I'm lucky that Paul is in the band. I always say Paul's like so positive, whereas I'm the opposite. I think of the worst situation. So if Paul was on this, you would hear that he's like, oh, if you cut off my left hand, at least I have my right arm. He's that type of person. So, and our fans, I mean, they got us through that time as well. Like, even like a little Instagram post or a tweet that would have made our week, and people getting tattoos and buying merch, like that really helped us, because we were thinking, wait, we are doing something. This was even before we went viral on Instagram and TikTok. Like, this was when we didn't have a lot of fans, but the ones that we did have, we could tell that they adored us and that they cared and they understood it and they connected so much to the lyrics, like, and the messages we'd get of paragraphs of people saying how our songs have saved their life or has changed their life. And it's stuff like that that has kept us going through all of the industry crap that I hate so much, but you have to go through it if you want to be anything. I guess everyone has dealt with similar things, if not worse. I mean, so I'm so happy that we've continued, and even the songs that we have up our sleeve are a lot of the reason as well that we've kept going, because we will not stop until people have heard our new songs as well. And we didn't want to release anything and then have people who kind of were horrible making money off of our old stuff. It's like when they don't own it and they didn't care enough to put a record deal in front of us. So it kind of, and sometimes when you think, oh, they didn't work or this or that, I think the fact they didn't put the record deal in front of us kind of proves that our feelings were valid. And stuff happens, and I'm so glad all that happened because it was a lesson. And it's what I'd say as well to anyone who's in a band, or either starting a band or you're in a band for 10 years, just keep going and follow your gut with things, because as long as you care, I think anyone else's opinion doesn't matter. So yeah, sorry for the massive speech.
No, that's where it comes into too. You kept going back to saying the same thing about someone caring, and it takes time to find people that are going to care about your own heart and soul that you're putting into music and your creativity. To get someone to care on the same level as you is going to be extremely hard. But once the music's out there, right, that's when you start to see that there are people that care. There's people out there that write you those messages and throw up little shots and of what you guys are doing. People like me who reach out, to you to be on the show, and just constantly, no matter what you do. And it's the same thing. If I fall in love with a band, I don't care if you're here or not. I'm going to support the music because I know how hard it is to create it and to find the people that care the same amount that you do, because it's your life's work and it's your passion. And, to continue to go again, I mean, that's to persevere and push through is, massive. And it's a great lesson to, as you said, people that are out there maybe thinking about starting a band or are in bands and shit hasn't gone well. Just know that if you continue to push forward, and forward we go is what I say when you hit tough times, just you're never going to be held down, because as long as you continue to care about what it is you're doing, it'll all come back to you in the end.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's something my mum always says. She always says, "What's for you won't pass you by," and I completely believe that. Even in really dark times, she told me that, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, mom!" Like, but it's so true. It is so true, and if I feel like I've grown to have so much patience. Like, I did not know I could be this patient. Like, I know people have been dying for new music, but I can assure you I've been waiting so much longer. It's been hard and it's been difficult, and but like I said, it was the best thing that I would do it all over again. I would have that happen a million times over if it meant to be in the situation we are now with, like you said, with people that care, like our new manager Casey from the Wonder Years. Like, we're working with Casey from the Wonder Years, like that's so cool, and he gets it because he's in a band as well, and he's been through like stuff similar, and it's yeah. And then to go to about fans again, I mean, we ended up going viral last year on Instagram and TikTok with the songs that Gosh dropped multiple times. So, and it's fans that understand it and that connect to it, and they don't care if we've been dropped a million times. They just care about, they connect to the music. So that's why we kind of never as well would have said, oh, this is happening right now or this, because it's like I don't want to kind of burden people with that. And plus at the time you feel like embarrassed and you're a bit like, oh god, is my career over? But then, you know, then you have Paul from Greywind telling you, no, it's fine, everything will be okay. And he was right. And, you know, and like I said, I think it's just keep going. And I hate when people say that when I'm in a bad place. That is the worst thing ever, but it's true. Like, it is so true. Things do get better. And eventually, what's another thing my mom says? She said, if you keep chopping at the tree, it will eventually fall down. I'm just giving all my mom's quotes. I'm so sorry.
Hey, listen, we could do a whole show on anecdotes. Let's keep them going.
Irish mother's quotes, like, they're the best. But it's true, and yeah, just keep going and always follow your gut is something I've learned as well, because you know best. If you really believe in something, someone else will, like, I've seen it with my own eyes. I mean, we had like what, 3,000 followers for when we were signed to a major label, and then when we left and it was just me and Paul last year, we're now to this day we're at 152,000 when we don't have a major label and a massive management. You don't need all that. And I feel like I love the way that the music industry has kind of changed, where it's not about that anymore, about who are you signed to or what management do you have. I love that it's in the fans' hands to decide. Like, you can go on TikTok and you can find your favorite band, which is what has happened with us. And most of our fans have found us from TikTok or Instagram. And whereas when we had the major label and the big management, no one knew who we were. So I love that the industry is changing in that way, where, like I said, it's down to each person to decide who they want to support. And I think people can tell what's authentic now or what's being kind of pushed in their face. I think a lot of people are very smart to that. And so it's nice to see so many new artists, not even just us, like a lot of amazing artists that a lot of people wouldn't have discovered if it wasn't for TikTok or Instagram Reels. So yeah, I think it is moving in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, the music business will always find a way to fuck artists. I mean, Spotify just came out with their new thing on how to screw artists, that if you don't have a certain number of downloads, they're not going to pay you at all, which is just it always comes down to, when it is easier now for you to get in front of people and for the music to be there and for people to find you. But there's always the fucking sharks in the water, which just bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, they'll always be there. And I think in most industries, I always think the music industry is the worst. But I think even like acting, or if you're a doctor or the whatever, I think in every industry, there's always something. There's always going to be bad people, but you just have to try and keep going, and eventually you will win. You will, like, if you don't stop, like you could, like I said, we should have stopped multiple times. Like, you think, like, is the universe saying, wait, you should probably quit your band? But no, like, me and Paul have gone through all that, I feel like you could literally, I could get a message right now saying, Steph, you are the worst singer I've ever heard in my life. You should quit. I'd be like, okay, yeah, thanks. I've heard a lot worse. So I think just keep going. There's always going to be bad people. There's always going to be people that don't get it. And I think that's the difference as well, is of people that just don't get it.
Yeah,
Whereas,
and listen, if
yeah.
if that happens to you and someone sends you that message, send that message to me. I will find that.
I have got a message like that before, years ago. This is years ago. I probably blocked them. I don't know. But thank you.
So you kept saying early on you're from this small town, Killarney, which again is absolutely gorgeous. My wife and I had a brilliant time there. It's so beautiful. We had so much fun when we were there.
Wow.
And coming from a small town and growing up in an area where it's the local Irish music that you're going to hear in the pubs and playing around in the squares, when you were a child, how did you kind of come to music? How did you find it? How, do you remember what you heard that for the first time that changed your thoughts about music from being background noise to being, wow, I really need to know more about what this is?
I remember watching, there's this show, I don't know if in America they have it. It was called Top of the Pops. I don't know. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was in. So we had a thing called Top of the Pops Saturday. And I watched that religiously every Saturday. That was just my favorite thing. I had watched that for as long as I can remember. And one day I turned that on one morning and I saw My Chemical Romance, Famous Last Words, come up on it. And I was like, who is this? This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. And I was looking at Jared Way thinking, oh my God, that's what I want to do. This man is so dramatic. That's me. So I kind of, when I saw them, I started freaking out and I was like, oh my God, I get on MySpace and I'm looking up on My Chemical Romance and I'm just obsessed. So they were the band that got me basically into emo music, I would say. And then Taking Back Sunday, Fall Out Boy. I remember Paul's slightly older than me. So he was in high school at that point, and him and his friends started discovering music, and Paul would bring back like a burnt CD of all different bands, and then he'd pass it on to me, and then that's how I discovered like Jimmy Eat World and Take Back Sunday, like I said, and Thrice, and every band that I love, and still to this day that I love. And I was so lucky that I had Paul to kind of hand down that music as well, because I was just obsessed with My Chemical Romance. I wouldn't have listened to anyone else. So it was so nice that he kind of introduced me to all the other bands. And then Taking Back Sunday, I followed them around on tour in England. Paul was there too, and like I missed so much school. Like, thank you to my mom and dad, because they shouldn't have let me do that. But like every week we would try and fly over to England. In Ireland, there's this plane company called Ryanair. I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, I know.
And they used to do 2-cent flights, which is crazy. I know. It was when I think they first started the company. And so me and Paul took advantage of that, and we'd be like, Mom, I'm booking a 2-cent flight. And then our mom and dad would obviously pay for the hotels and flight, or the tickets and the show tickets, and they'd have to come to the show because I was so young. So they kind of funded the emo, like the start of the emo obsession. So I remember going to see Circus Survive and Take Back Sunday and All Time Low and all of that kind of era, Fall Out Boy. And that was like the best thing. That's what made me fall even more in love with music and just wanting to be in a band. Every time I'd go to a show, I would just be like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm not stopping. I don't know anyone to start a band with me. At this point, Paul didn't even play guitar. So this was just me saying to myself, I want to be in a band, even though I had no friends that knew how to play any instruments. Paul didn't know how to play an instrument at this point. So it was just me being deluded, but kind of hoping someday. And now I've done it. Even some of my friends from back then are like, oh my God, you did it. Like, I remember you not shutting up about wanting to be in a band. So it's funny how stuff happens. But again, I just believed and kind of didn't stop again, I guess.
Like your mom said, you keep chopping at the tree,
Exactly.
eventually it's going to fall.
Exactly.
Okay. How did it come about that let's say Paul started playing guitar, you started finding your voice and singing. I mean, how did that all start? Because you have to have something somewhere. Where you just singing in your room and not in front of people, or how did it
So
all
to
start to
bring up
manifest itself?
to bring up my mom again, I've mentioned my mom too many times in this, but she is actually a singer as well. She teaches singing and piano, and she's like an opera singer. So that's probably why I'm very dramatic as well when I sing. But so yeah, she always growing up, she'd be singing around the house. Like she never forced us to do music or anything, but she'd be teaching us Disney songs, and I just remember singing Beauty and the Beast all the time. So music was always in our house, and my dad is a massive rock music fan. So he'd have vinyls of like Thin Lizzy and Black Sabbath and loads of rock bands. So I think that's where the combination of the kind of dramatic rock music kind of comes from. So yeah, we were just always surrounded by music. And Paul, I think, just decided when he was, I think he was like, was he 16, I think, when he started learning guitar, and he'd be watching YouTube videos how to learn. And then I remember we started posting YouTube videos, but we had like no subscribers. It was really sad. But we'd just be singing like Taking Back Sunday and all that. And we went busking in town in like, yeah, and everyone thought we wrote Cute Without the E by Taking Back Sunday because they didn't know who the hell that was. So it was just that kind of, and we just kept, music was always in our life, but then we never, I don't know, we always then were looking for a band, but no one else around us. Either people wanted to be in like a really heavy metal band or a super kind of pop punk band or something. And me and Paul kind of, I don't know, I feel like we're lucky in the fact, even before Greywind was even kind of started and we had like bones of songs and we hadn't kind of finished writing a song until Afterthoughts, we knew the kind of band we wanted to be. I feel like a lot of bands, when they start, they're kind of trying to discover their sound, whereas we were always like, when we make a band, let's make it calm to storm, epic, beautiful. The plan was always the first record to be that kind of, like I said, the calm to storm and that Thrice-esque brand new type vibe. That was always that. And then as we go on, we do slightly faster, kind of lean maybe more into our pop punk side and just kind of combine basically all of our favorite bands. And I feel like in our first, sorry, I'm going on a massive rant.
No, I love listening to this. This is exactly what I love to hear. I love learning and seeing how you wanted to do it and how you said calm the storm. And
Yeah.
I mean, listening to the album and now hearing that your mother was an opera singer, it's very operatic because it is calm the storm. That's how operas go. It's slow and then it hits you in the face and you're like, fuck, and your hair's blown back and yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. And we kind of we're always kind of in our own bubble as well. We never look at what anyone else is doing or what's the trend or all this, because it's like, I don't want to be in a band making music I don't want to listen to. Like, I'm lucky that I'm in my favorite band. Even the new music we've written and songs that haven't even been recorded yet, I'm so excited. And I even Antidote, which is out November 10th, is my favorite Greywind song to date. Like, I'm so excited even to play that live. I can't wait. I know people are going to love it. If they don't love it, they're lying. But yeah, I think it's a song that we need, if that makes sense. I feel like like I said, I feel like we're leaning more into our pop punk side, but we still have that kind of aggression and that kind of the calm to storm in a way. But I don't know, it's a new Greywind, but still, if you love any of the old stuff, you'll love it. And then we have a lot more to come anyway. So
Nice. And I like how you said you needed it. So it was a necessity to continue doing what you're doing. And I love to hear that when you're creating a song, it was a necessity. I love to hear, because people often just think, you also brought up following trends, then you just sound like everybody else. So as long as you're going to follow what you want to do and come up with songs that you feel are necessary for the band, I mean, no one can ever fucking say shit about that, because that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. And like I said earlier, I think a lot of people can see when you're not being authentic. I can see it. Sometimes I'll see stuff come up and I think, wait, that's not really what you want to be releasing. And it just, I don't know. And I think a lot of people use emo as just a hashtag and an aesthetic. I think a lot of people didn't kind of, I guess, grow up maybe on that music, and they just using it now because it's a trend on TikTok or something. And fair enough, that's what they want to do. But for me and Paul, we always want to, the music is always number one priority for us. Like I said, we with all we went through, we weren't stopping until to get to this stage where we can release new songs and have the rights to our debut album. We wouldn't have started if we didn't care. We wouldn't have fought for that for like 4 years to get that back. We would just wouldn't have cared. So it's been, I feel like even these new songs you can hear, it kind of tells a story of what we've been through the last few years. So I think when people eventually hear a whole bunch of them, they'll get it, I think, and they'll relate to it for your own life of just not giving up even in your dark times. That's basically, and it still runs in the theme of Afterthoughts as well. That was the theme of that, is there is light at the end of the tunnel, and little did we know it would get worse after that, but it's all good again. So it's fine. We'll probably go back downhill again soon, but it's fine.
It's the ebbs and flows. You gotta, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's fine.
Now, and I love how you bring up, being authentic, and there's so many times, and I was at a show recently and I'm sitting there with my wife and I'm like, they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean? I go, they're trying to be something that they're not. And it comes through in spades. And I'm like, I can't sit here and enjoy it because I know that they're trying too hard on something that was, and I don't know them personally, but at the same time, I've been doing this long enough and know enough about music to be like, yeah, they're really trying to be something that they're not. And it doesn't work for me. It may work they may have legions of fans around the world, and that's awesome, but I can tell, and I'm like, I'm already out. Like I'm done.
Yeah, no, I see that so much, like online, and it's, but then it's like, for me, I always, like, we've been told, oh, you're not emo, you're not this, and it's like, okay, fair enough, that's your opinion, but we know what we are, and I grew up on emo rock music. We're doing that in our own way. Like, this is,
and you don't have to fall into a category.
Exactly.
Like, the genre labels, there's 9 million subgenres now.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think people get too caught up on genres. Like, music fans sometimes go a bit crazy. Like, this isn't emo, this isn't that. And like, we were called a metal band the other day. And I mean, I like metal, but I'm not in a metal band. But if you enjoy the music, I don't care what you think it is. Just as long as, if you connect to it, great. I
call
feel
it what you will. Buy a T-shirt. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you enjoy it, and this will just be nice. Like, I think, like I said, there's stuff I don't get, but I'm not going to write a mean comment, or I'm not going to say, oh my god, you're fake. You know what I mean? I think people get too kind of caught up in that, but I don't know. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, we'll do a whole nother show on that.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that kind of really pisses me off, and in a good way for you. But the fact that your mother is, I haven't heard her sing, but I can only imagine how talented she is to be as talented as you are. Now, this is what pisses me off, is that I hate when talented families just continue to create talented people. And it's always, especially when it comes to singing, right? Like, just because your mom can sing doesn't mean you can, but you can. And it's crazy. Like, last night, I'm going to probably lose, some street cred here, but I don't care because she's fucking brilliant. I saw Pink with my wife last night.
Oh, amazing.
And it was an absolute amazing show, but she brings her daughter out.
Aww.
And her daughter sings and rocks a fucking song. And I'm like, that's not fair to normal people.
I know. You're like, damn, you're already like so famous. Like, why is your child so talented?
Yeah.
But no, I love,
especially when it comes to singing, right? Because you can't be really truly taught.
Yeah, Exactly. It's like my mom has tried to teach me so many times. It's always when I'm with my mom, she's like, pull in your diaphragm and all this. And I'm just like, Mom, I know what I'm doing. And then I'm like, I get so nervous if she's at a show because like I'll know, like she knows if I miss a note or sound bad. I could play in front of like a 10,000 capacity arena and not be nervous. But if my mom is there in a tiny venue, I'll just be like so nervous. But yeah, she's amazing. And I'm very lucky that she can sing, and she's given me the advice that she has, and she even started writing her own songs during COVID and everything. So we were like, wait, because we always wondered, wait, where do we get the songwriting from? But then she just decided one day she can write songs. So it was the whole thing. Yeah, so yeah, she's amazing. So if anyone wants to check her out as well, Mary Cullity O'Sullivan, that's her name.
Hey, we'll pump her up as well. I mean, we've
My mom a plug.
yeah, she's taken up half of this show already. So
I've taught, like I said, I've mentioned it way too many times.
no, but that's beautiful. I mean, because you know where your passion comes from, right? And I don't think a lot of times we tell the people that mean the most to us and have helped us the most in our life exactly what they mean to us. So listen, now that you got it here and it'll be broadcast around the world, she'll never not know.
Yeah, she is. Even with all that we went through, we're very lucky that our parents were so supportive, because I know a lot of people out there in bands who don't have that support, whether it be like family or relationships or friendships. And we're very lucky that our parents always believed in us, and they've had things said to them from people in the music industry to them, and I want to punch those people in the face that have said anything to my mom and dad. And it's just a lot. They've been through a lot of it with us, and they've seen us in the darkest times. They've seen me have panic attacks and cry and not be able to get out of bed. So, you know, that's why I mention my mom too much, because I'm very grateful for her.
Yeah. I have that as well. My mother is she's phenomenal. She's been there for everything, through my attacks too of not wanting to get out of bed, and it is having that supporting cast, because not everyone has it. So just to be thankful that we have it is that's a big thing.
Yeah.
All right, from the mushy stuff. Now it has to be a song that is currently out there in the world. It can't be something new. So, but if no one ever heard the band Greywind, right, a stranger, and you had to play them one or two songs from something you already have out there in the world for people to listen to, what would you play for them that would best describe what Greywind is?
It would be a Greywind song or a different band, or what? Sorry, I've missed the question completely. Do you mean any Greywind song?
And it's
okay.
You have to play a Greywind song.
Okay.
Your own music for someone that never heard you before, and that best describes what the band is.
I would say Afterthoughts, the song Afterthoughts. I think that just encapsulates Greywind of what we do best, the calm to storm. But then if you love the slow, kind of beautiful verses, you'll love a million other songs that are that for the whole song. But then if you love the kind of heavy, fastish chorus, you're going to love some other songs. So I feel like that song best kind of, it gives even my vocals, the lyrics, I feel like it kind of does everything. So
and listen, I love the fact that it's the first one you ever wrote. So
I know it just works. I'm so glad that was the first song. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to come out of the gate with a fucking banger like that, and to be able to still this many years on say, if you've never heard our band and you want to know who we are and what we sound like, here's the song to listen to. That's awesome that you can still do that. And would you say it's your favorite song you've ever released, or is there something else that would be more, it's hard to be more meaningful than Afterthoughts, but is there another song of yours that is your favorite one, or would you stick with Afterthoughts?
I would say Afterthoughts, but then part of me would go to So Far, my favorite like music video, and even another song that could kind of best describe us if someone was first listening would be Am I Asleep? that whole, like, the aesthetic in the video, I feel like it shows how much our confidence in ourselves grew. I feel like I never would have worn a yellow suit in a million years. Like when Afterthoughts was released, I wouldn't have been confident enough. Like back in Afterthoughts era, I had brown hair, and then through all of that stuff happening, they say you change your hair when you're going crazy, and I had an opposite Britney moment. I just bleached my hair. So that's what happened to me, and I feel like I got, like, the color yellow for me is about power, and that's the reason I'm wearing that in that music video. I think bright colors are very important to me, and I feel like in the new era you'll see a lot of different colors and stuff, and that was the kind of bridge between Afterthoughts and new music. So I think that's a very important song. That's when we got our album back and we were like, okay, let's release music. So that song's very important as well, and that would be one of my favorites as well. So yeah.
Nice. If there's a band that you've attached yourself to, when I look at it this way, do you have a band that you always turn to, a band that never lets you down when you don't know what kind of music you want to listen to or what kind of mood you're in? You just always go to this one band and listen to their music because that's just always going to be what you need in whatever mood you're in.
I'm going to say My Chemical Romance. Always. They're such a special band for me. Even throughout all growing up, they were the one band I never got to see up until last year, which does not make sense because when I was growing up, I went to so many shows, but it was My Chemical Romance were always sold out, or I couldn't I had missed too much school that I couldn't go, or there was no way of getting there or something. So they were a band I always missed. And then last year they came to Dublin, and a fan actually, this is a crazy story. I was out one night, I went to the cinema with Paul actually and a bunch of his friends, and then we just went to a pub after and we're just having a drink, and we were kind of ready to go home, and then a fan was working behind the bar. He has a Greywind tattoo, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Steph," and he said, "Oh, guess who I'm seeing tomorrow?" And I was like, I knew, and I was just like, "Oh, you're seeing My Chemical Romance, aren't you?" And then he said he had a spare ticket. And I was like, oh my God. So I ran, and then Paul had left at this point. So I rang Paul saying, "Paul, like, please don't kill me, but I'm going to go to see My Chemical Romance tomorrow." And then Paul was scouring the internet for tickets. He ended up getting a ticket. So we went up. So thank you to Craig, that fan. He's the best. And I will always be in debt to him. Because then we got to go see My Chemical Romance. And I was just crying through the whole thing because that band is just, like I said, they're the reason I love rock music and emo rock music as much as I do. And I think they're the reason, one of the many reasons that we're so that kind of dramatics and all the aesthetic and everything. It's just that they kind of shaped me as a person, which I kind of didn't even realize until even when I was watching them and hearing Gerard like say a speech about how he wished he appreciated the moments back when they were kind of going through it, and hearing that brought me comfort. And he wouldn't even know that, and he doesn't know I'm going through like similar stuff. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going through similar stuff Gerard Way is going through, and he's still such an icon and an idol for me, still to this day. And so they're always, I can put them on if I'm happy, if I'm sad, and they'll always be there for me. And I hope from years to come they'll always be there for me too.
Wow,
sorry, that was a very dramatic speech.
No, that's fine. And I think in my life, I guess, I mean, I probably have to say I've probably maybe taken My Chemical Romance for granted at times. I mean, I'm a Jersey boy. They're Jersey boys. Frank lives in the town next to me. His cousin's my tattoo artist. So it's like, but it's one of those things where it's like, I remember when they blew up and I was like, really? Out of all the bands that, at the same time, like that, I was like, I guess they have some that everybody loves, and they did, and they did what they did, and I know how the guys feel now is, they probably back at that time took a lot of things for granted, but at the same time, when you're going through it, you don't fucking know, right? And that's the hard part. You really don't know what's happening. Yeah, it's like I said earlier, when we first got signed to a major label, and this is happening. Looking back, I'm like, wait, what? Like that? No wonder at the time I felt so
upset, and like the imposter syndrome kicked in. And now looking back, I think to myself, like, of course, Steph, like I feel sorry for, I was so young. I was like 20. I mean, and I had barely left Ireland before. Like I'd gone to England a couple times and to America, to Disney World. Like I hadn't fully kind of gone out into the world. So for that to all kind of happen was so intense, and it was scary. And when, like you said, I can't imagine what they felt when they were going through it, like you said, from New Jersey and then blowing up across the world, like even over here, Ireland, England, Europe, Asia, everywhere, they just became massive. And that pressure, I can't even imagine it, but I would love that pressure. Now I would. Now I'm ready. Back then I wouldn't have been able to handle it. But
Listen, I think that pressure's probably going to be coming soon with the new music that you're putting out.
The next time I'm talking to you, I'll just be crying.
Yeah.
I wish for this.
The pressure's here. Yeah, I really don't want the pressure. I thought I said I wanted it, but no, I don't.
No, I'm ready now. All right. I've been through too much to not have that pressure.
Well, yeah, no, you've been through enough bad shit that
I feel like
if the pressure comes, you won't even know.
I know. I'll be like, wait, I just need some relief. Like, it's great.
Going to all these shows, growing up, and I mean, it sounds like you've had a tremendous, besides the support behind you to be able to experience all the things that you had. Is there? Do you remember your very first concert ever you saw?
My very first. Oh my God, this is a bit embarrassing, actually. Or it might not be, because I actually, you know what? A lot of people might not know who they
Listen,
are.
I tell everybody who my first one is, and for a punk rock emo metal kid like me, my first concert ever was Kenny Rogers. It's not like I got to choose it or anything. So
mine was, I remember there's a football stadium in town called the Fitzgerald Stadium. I don't know, you might have passed it when you were here. So it's where they play like the GAA, the Gaelic football.
Yeah.
But I remember this boy band, Westlife. I don't know, have you heard of them in America?
Oh, yes.
Westlife, an Irish boy band. They were playing, and I went to see them. And it was great. I love it. Even I love Westlife to this day. I don't want any Westlife slander, like, because I actually genuinely, they're not bad. But people might not think I'm as cool, but they probably didn't.
It's all right.
Anyway, it's fine.
Yeah. And listen, you may not be as cool as you think you are anyway. So you don't know. You really never know.
It's fine.
So what was the first show that you got to choose to go to? So you chose to go to that, but what was the first, I'm throwing air quotes that you can't see. What was the first cool show you got to pick to go to?
I'm trying to think. It was this, I'm trying to think. I think this was it. It was this band, Elliot Minor, I think they were called. And I think that was it. If it wasn't that, it could have been either Taking Back Sunday or Billy Talent. It could have been either one. It was all around. That was all that kind of time. I should have just said Taking Back Sunday. But no, it wasn't. They were, I think it was this band, Elliot Minor. I think they were English. They came to Dublin, and I remember me and my friend were just obsessed with them, and I'm pretty sure that was it. I remember wanting to go to that. So
All right, cool. Is there a show? I'm going to pull the My Chemical Romance show off the table for you. You can't use it.
Okay.
But is there a show that you've been to that, for better or worse, maybe something crazy happened or it was just the greatest thing you've ever seen? Is there a show that will always stand in the back of your head? And again, I'm taking that My Chemical Romance show off because I know how important they are to you. But just a show that you saw that was just absolutely something that you can have dementia and you're never going to forget about it.
I have two, actually. There's two.
All right, I'll allow it.
One is a band I've mentioned a million times already, but then there's another one. Okay, so the first one would be Taking Back Sunday, obviously. I saw them in Liverpool. I think I must have been like 14, I think. And it was just so good. It was so hot. There was like sweat coming off the ceiling. It was just insane. It was just one of those shows that I literally can't forget because it was just so insane. And it was back when no one had phones. I had my little digital camera trying to take photos of Adam Lazzara. I'm trying to get my photo to upload onto MySpace and Bebo and all that. But and then meeting them after, they were so nice. And I remember queuing all day for them. It was freezing, and I just remember queuing all day. I made friends with these two girls from Sweden in the queue because I just wanted to get front row, like, because I'm blind as well. I wear glasses, so I wanted to always just get front row so I could see as well as listen, obviously. But so that one, and then the second one would be Circus Survive in Manchester. I remember, again, front row, directly in front of Anthony Green, and I just remember the lighting in that show. Whoever, I don't know who did lights that night, but whoever was on their lighting thing was just insane. It was just so good. And Anthony Green as a front man, that was one of the times where I came back from that, and I remember sitting with my friends and just being like, oh my god, I need to be in a band because that guy was so cool. So those two shows kind of changed my life in a way, because I always, even when I'm performing, I always think of those sets. I think of Adam Lazara as a front man, and I think of Anthony Green, and I always make sure if I can talk to a lighting person, if I can find someone, because the lights make such a difference. They do. And
my wife gets pissed if she goes to a show and the light show is shit. She's like,
yeah,
that. I mean, it could have been so much better if the lighting was better.
it makes such a difference, but you have to make sure you can find the light person. Then most of the time I can never find them. So.
They don't want to be found.
No.
They're in the dark.
Yes, literally.
Now, personally, how about for you, for a show that you performed? Is there one that stands out to you, for the test of time, that'll always be, currently, because you're going to have a lot more coming up in your life, but, currently what you've experienced, is there a show that you performed that you were just like, that's the best it's going to be?
I remember it was just before, when was it? 2019. And it was just before the next year, obviously COVID hit. And it was December, and we were supporting the band Palais Royale. We were supporting them in Dublin and Belfast. And the first night was in Dublin, and we were first on, and we thought, okay, like, no one knows who we are, like, whatever, but we're supporting Palais Royale, like, this is so cool, and hopefully their fans will like us. And we walked out, and it was as if we were headlining. It was crazy. I got thrown roses at me. I've never seen a crowd like it. Even to this day, I think our own show didn't even look like that. It was insane. I feel like they were just amazing. And I felt famous. Like, it was crazy. I was like, wow, is this what it's meant to be like? But yeah, and they just lost their mind, and they were just such an amazing crowd. And I feel like they completely got it, and they got what we were doing, and they just love music. Although every person in that room it was just crazy. I still can't get over it. And I remember afterwards, and people coming up to us, and it was just so nice. And I remember being up on the balcony, and they just kept screaming at me. I was thinking, oh my god, wait, should I go on stage again? Or should Palais Royale just not come on? Like, it was crazy. So that would be my favorite show so far. And maybe our last London show was really amazing as well. Again, people throwing roses at me, which I love. Always bring roses to Greywind shows. I do appreciate it.
All right. Noted.
Yes. And yeah, I remember afterwards a fan asking me and Paul to sign her arm. And then she went and got it tattooed. So that was crazy. So things like that, which are just kind of surreal, or still, I probably will never get used to. Those two shows were probably my favorite.
That brings it back to where we started, right? With the caring and finding out that, that there are people that care about it, and maybe even more than you, which is hard to do, but there's those people that you've attached to, and now you belong to them, and your music belongs to them. It no longer belongs to you, because it's always going to mean something different to them. And but to have that and see that is just a beautiful
it's crazy. Like, when someone sends us a picture of them having a tattoo, I'm just like, oh my god, like, this is crazy. Like, someone got the lyrics "We Swore" tattooed and massive across their arm, and I can't believe that. Like, it's crazy. My dad has a Greywind tattoo, but like, that's my dad. He's meant to, like.
Well, yeah, but still, talk about support. I know. That's
what I'm saying. My parents are very supportive. But yeah, he was devastated that he wasn't the first one to get the tattoo. So yeah, it's crazy every time. Like I said earlier, seeing people do go that kind of far, and even just like buying merch or even just sending a tweet, doing a drawing, stuff like that means so much to us and has got us through so much. And to bring it back to even My Chemical Romance, it's like that's what I was like growing up. I used to draw them all. I used to draw Jared Way in school every day in my book instead of actually learning. and then be sending it to them on MySpace, sending all my favorite bands, like and stuff like that. It does make a difference. And I remember when me and Paul actually did covers on YouTube, and we do like just random bands. And I just remember, I think was it Thrice? We did like a Thrice cover, and I remember sending it to Dustin Kinsrew, the singer of Thrice, on Twitter, and I remember he replied, and that made my whole year. Even I still remember it. Like, so I know what it kind of feels like to be that fan and to be that person that just loves a band. So of course we're gonna reply, or of course we're gonna appreciate what people that appreciate our music, because I know what it's like, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And because at the end of the day, even though you have your own amazing band, you are a fan of music. So you get it. You get where we come from on this side of the table.
Exactly. I am that person that queued up literally early in the morning, like early hours. My mom would drop me up in Dublin, and I'd get off the train, and I'd just sit there and hope that I'd meet the band. Like I remember taking my extended played in Dublin, and I spotted Adam Lazara outside the venue. And I don't think I've ever ran that fast in my life. Like I didn't know I could run that fast, because I just was like, oh my God, I need to meet him. And then those bands were just so kind and so nice, and they probably thought, who is that freak? But they never told me that.
No, they're not going to tell you to your face. And if they do, wow.
I know. They know they'd never. But yeah, and just I feel like that makes such a difference. It's like I still remember that, and I'm, that was years and years ago, and I'm now in my own band and doing stuff. So I do know what it's like. And when I see people even queuing for us and stuff, I know I was on that street once.
Well, remain humble, because it's a great quality to have.
Thank you.
So through everything, we've been here for almost an hour already. So I don't want to keep you very long across the shores, but I'm definitely going to want to have you back when all the new music hits the world.
Definitely.
So before we get into our final segment, which is our weekly threes, where you guys first appeared on this show,
amazing.
I have one last question prior to that, and it is the world's going to end in 5 minutes. A meteor's going to crash into the earth, and you have to listen to one song.
Oh no.
What song are you listening to?
Oh, I feel like you know what band I'm going to pick.
I do know what band you're going to pick.
Yeah, My Chemical Romance, absolutely. I should probably pick Greywind, but I don't know. Is it a bit weird listening?
It's a bit cheesy. I mean, we've had a couple of people throw it out there, and I'm like, no, you're disqualified.
I don't.
Yeah.
Romance, because I feel like it fits with the whole theme.
Yeah.
And plus, that's my favorite My Chemical Romance song anyway. So
all right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, all right. So we're going to come into our weekly threes now, which is 3 things that you're listening to that you would like people to check out. You give me 3 things, and then I'll give you 3 things.
Okay, 3 things. I'm trying to think. Okay. There's a band called Sweet Pill who are amazing. Yep. Pool Kids. And yep. I'm trying to think of a third. I'm going to say 408. They're a band. I found them on TikTok, and they're really cool. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Good 3.
Thank you.
All right. My 3. First one is a band called Black Satellite. The name of the album is called Endless.
Oh, okay.
Next is a band called Done For. If you're looking them up, it's all capital letters, and it's DONEFOR. The name of the album is Sleep On It. And last but not least, a band called The Luka State. That's Luka, Luka, The Luka State. They have an EP out. It's called Anxious Times. But those are my 3 for this week.
Cool. Everyone has such cool band names.
There are, and when I think back to, and considering Greywind was your first band, and so I really didn't get to ask this question, but going back and finding out what people came up with as a kid, because a lot of times you come up with band names prior to even having a band, and hearing what they had. Some of them are the most god awful things in the world, and some of them are really good. And it's to where we are today with band names is absolutely crazy, because there are some band names that come out that I'm just like, how did no one ever come up with that before?
I see that a lot, and then sometimes I think, wait, is that a band? And then it's not. It's just a really good name that should have been a band. But Greywind. I remember Paul had a T-shirt of Pokemon, and then it was the dire wolves from Game of Thrones, like as the Pokemon party, and basically I saw Greywind written on it, and then he was like, "Yes, that's it," and then push it together, one word, done. It was just that. Like, it all happened very fast.
Well,
we didn't think.
Listen, it's a great name, though. I don't think people will ever forget it. So you did well. You did well, and you did well in following your dreams, persevering, going through the bullshit. Unfortunately, but you're all the better for it. So, from me, I just want to say thank you so very much for what it is that you do and creating your music, putting it out to the world, and giving us an opportunity to fall in love with you and to fall in love with you with your personal story today. I cannot tell you how much it means what it is you do, because it's important and it matters. And I just want the artists that do it to know that.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Like, because there was times when we literally thought no one cared. So to hear that, it just makes my heart so happy. So thank you, and thank you for listening as well. I'm sorry, I do talk too much, but
no, I love it. It's I love the stories. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn about you. I fell in love with you through your music, so now I get to fall in love with the band through the personal stories, which I think bring up and make you, as a fan, brings you closer to the art that you're creating. So it means the world.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm blushing.
But you know what time it is, everybody. It's time to go out, listen to Greywind, and have a great fucking time.
Yeah.
I came to watch you die in your hospital room. I'm not medicine, I'm gloom, and I hope you don't mind. I woke up from my wounds, killed the callous out of you.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.